Hello YouTube, today I want to talk about how for about a week I have made the switch from my daily driver iPhone X to Android on the Samsung Galaxy S10. So as many of you may know, I am an Apple guy. I'm an iOS nerd. I'm in the whole Apple ecosystem. I have anything from the iPhones to the iPods to the HomePod, AirPods, MacBook, Mac desktops, all sorts of Apple products. And it's a little hard for me to even contemplate trying Android just due to the fact that I've been using Apple products for so long. But I just wanted to give this a shot. I actually got this Galaxy S10 for a pretty great deal. And I was just planning on reselling it, but thought since I already have it, I might as well give it a shot for about a week or so and see my thoughts on it. I haven't actually used a Galaxy or Android phone in general as my primary phone since the Galaxy S5, so it's been a while. I thought it was only fair to give it a try again. So I wanted to go over the pros and cons, at least in my opinion, of this phone and Android-based devices in general compared to iPhones in my experience with that. So we are going to go over the pros of the phone first. Number one is just the great build quality of the phone. The iPhone X is made out of stainless steel around the borders, and the Android phone, I would assume it looks at least like stainless steel. It's a really great material. It feels, premium. It's got that heft to it, but it's not, so heavy that it's like carrying around a brick. It's fine. Number two is the cameras are actually good on the phone. I know iPhones are known for having really good cameras, but so are Samsung phones. At least the Galaxy S and Galaxy Note series cameras are really great. The only problem is those cameras are great within their primary camera app, but anytime you get into a third-party app like Snapchat, especially Snapchat or Instagram or things like that, it's not always optimized the best for Android-based devices. I don't know exactly why. It sucks, but my autofocus struggles a ton over the period of time I've been using it. I'd try to tap to focus on stuff and it'd take forever, but at least through that native camera app, it seemed to be working okay. In addition to that, I also like all of the features the camera has. It has tons of modes. It has night mode, it has slow-mo, super slow-mo, food mode, like all sorts of stuff, and the iPhone just has, the standard stuff. But there's just like so freaking many modes on the Galaxy camera, which isn't a bad thing. I'd rather have more options to choose from and just not use half of them than not having enough options. One more thing while we're talking about the camera, this Galaxy S10 has 3 cameras on the back. We have the standard lens, the ultra wide lens, and then a closer 2x zoom lens. So the iPhone has a standard and zoom lens, but it does not have the ultra wide lens, which is an awesome feature. But in general, having an ultra wide lens is still super cool. We're going to talk about storage next. The Galaxy S10, at least the one I have, is a 512 gig model, and that's internal storage. That's not even with a micro SD card added, which is crazy because my iPhone X is 64 gigs. I can get the 256 gig model, but I have to resell the phone and then buy another one just to upgrade storage. So not only does this one have a ton of storage already, but in addition to that, I can put in a micro SD card, I know at least up to 512 gigs, and that would boost me to a terabyte total of storage, which is ridiculous. It's going to be a long time until I have a terabyte of stuff on my phone. At least I don't need that much stuff with me, portable-wise all the time. But that's still a super awesome option there. In addition to this phone also having wireless charging like the iPhone X, it also has reverse power share or reverse wireless charging, whatever you want to call it. So I can take the phone, set it down with the back glass facing up, and turn on the feature, and I can take my iPhone X or any wireless charging capable device, set it on top, and it will start charging. Even if you have a pair of AirPods, you can slap it on there. It's awesome. Next up is a feature that Apple used to have on their devices, at least on their iPhones and other devices, but have removed it, and I kind of miss it a little bit. But this Galaxy S10 has a headphone jack, which is cool, but at the same time I use an iPod in my car for music, so I don't really need a headphone jack on my phone anymore, but just the fact it's there is still awesome. Also, going back to wireless charging, not only does this wireless charge, but it also has the option of fast wireless charging. I don't think you can achieve that on an iPhone at all. I know you can fast charge an iPhone if you buy the stupid big brick and the USB-C to Lightning cable, which, you know, if you're buying it through Apple, it costs quite a bit. I think it's roughly like $70 for the setup, and it's a lot cheaper on Android. But I just have a, you know, wireless charging pad, and I have a Samsung fast charge brick that plugs into that, and I didn't even know it was a feature. I put my phone on the wireless charger, and it started, you know, it said it was fast wireless charging, and I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet. So the whole time I've been using this phone for about a week, I haven't actually plugged it in to charge it a single time. I've wireless charged every time. The battery life on this is great. Charging up time speed is great. It's, you know, not incredible, you know, blazing fast, but it's good, and it holds great. So I don't have, you know, room to complain there. Another cool one is, so iPhones have, you know, their voice assistant Siri built in. On this phone, it has, you know, no one cares about Bixby. Don't even worry about that. There's a stupid button on the side for Bixby, and Bixby's annoying. But you can summon Google. I'm not going to use the word because I don't want to pull up Google right now. But their built-in voice assistant, not only can you tell it to play music that you have stored locally on your phone, but you can tell it to play a song through Spotify or whatever streaming service you have. I can confirm for sure it works with Spotify. You can tell it to play a song through there, and it will play music through a third-party app that's not built into the phone, which is really great, so I don't have to manually, you know, dig through and find the music there. Next up is RAM. The iPhone only has 3 gigs of RAM, but the Galaxy S10 has 8 gigs of RAM, so spec-wise it is definitely way higher up there. But I would sometimes open an app in the morning, go to work, come back later, and open that app again, and it would still have me exactly where I left it, which is awesome, just because on my iPhone I would sometimes open an app, get out, open another app, and then try to go back to that previous app I had open, and it would refresh, which was annoying because I have to keep starting from scratch again and like research whatever I was doing again. So that's really cool there. Next is the methods for unlocking the phone. One of the selling points on this S10 was the fact that it was the first Galaxy phone to have a under-the-screen fingerprint reader, at least one of the first. I don't know if it was the first. But, dude, why are you freaking out? It doesn't have, you know, a home button like the iPhone 8 and lower do, but it does still have that fingerprint capability under the glass. And that's what I've been using, and it's pretty reliable. It's pretty quick. I don't have to push down really hard. It's registered great, so I can do it at different angles. I can use either of my fingers, and it goes in. But in addition to that, I still have the option of setting up facial recognition. I have the option of doing a pattern. I can do a regular passcode. There's a lot more options with unlocking the phone than there is with iPhones, so that is cool there. And one of the final pros I could think of with this phone is the fact that you have the ability to set up a third-party launcher. With, you know, iPhones, you're just stuck with the primary home screen you have. No real built-in widgets. There is the widget page on the left side, but we're not going to talk about that. But on the Android phone, you can go into the Google Play Store, install a different launcher, and, you know, change the whole layout interface with all, you know, your home screen and your apps and things like that. So that was one of the first things I did. The built-in launcher isn't bad, but just the fact that I have the option to customize a lot of the features there was definitely something I wanted to take advantage of. And now we are going to get to the cons. Con number 1 is the fact that the ecosystem is broken, more or less. I use an Apple Watch all the time, as pretty much any tech guy is going to tell you. Apple Watch is just one of the best smartwatches out there right now. Samsung has their whole Gear series and all sorts of watches like that. But Apple Watch is just so beyond that and a lot of other smartwatches. So I've been using one of those. It's super great, you know, in general for just getting my notifications, but just using on a day-to-day basis and other things like that. I have my HomePod voice assistant, which is, you know, great for playing back music and general easy voice assistance, because Siri is kind of dumb on the HomePod. But I just have a lot of things that are all paired together. My MacBook with iMessage, my Mac Pro, my AirPods, my Apple Watch, all that stuff. They all work seamlessly together. And when switching over to Android, a lot of that stuff doesn't work well. My HomePod's basically broken. My MacBook still works fine, but iMessage doesn't really come through the same since my primary phone number is on a different phone. My Apple Watch, you know, I can't really use. It's not connected to my phone anymore. So a lot of that stuff is almost worthless when I switch over and don't have an iPhone to complete the circle. Next up, like I just mentioned, is the whole iMessage thing. Not only does it suck that I can't, respond to text messages through my MacBook, through my Apple Watch, through my HomePod, but just the whole layout of the messaging, default app on Samsung isn't the greatest experience. It sucks that you don't have like the whole read receipt thing. I can't tell if I've, been left on read, or people won't know if I've read their things, stuff like that. So just the whole iMessage layout kind of sucks. This one, a lot of people told me would be solved with a case, but I didn't want to go out and buy a case for a phone that I'm not even going to have for over a week. But I, multiple times when holding the phone and trying to type with my palm, I would hit the edge of the screen just due to the fact that it's curved on the edges. So I'm typing and I keep accidentally hitting keys, or I keep tapping on apps I don't want to open. So that was kind of annoying. The curve isn't like ginormous on the screen, but it definitely is there, and it can, kind of mess with you when you're using it if you're not going to put the phone in a case. This is kind of a stupid one, but emojis are not the same. They all look different. A lot of people don't like Android emojis once they've, used an iPhone and got used to those. The faces are all weird. I can't tell which ones are which. It's just, they're bland. I don't know. I just don't like it. It kills me. That's honestly one of the bigger deal breakers for me. Just all the emojis are weird, and I'm not used to it at all, and I don't want to get used to it. And then the final con of the Galaxy S10, and another one of those deal breakers for me, is the fact that I jailbreak on all of my iPhones that I use as a primary device. Even my spare devices I jailbreak. And there's a lot of essential tweaks I've installed that make day-to-day use a lot easier, just the usability of my device in general, and a lot of that stuff I can't replicate on the Galaxy S10. Like, I have an ad blocker on Instagram, and now I have ads in Instagram again, and it just feels weird, and there's no option for me to purchase, ad removal in Instagram. So, I kind of want that tweak again. There's just a lot of usability tweaks with the phone in general that I had set up that I'm not able to use on the S10. So just the fact that I'm not able to get that is, it kind of messes with me on a day-to-day basis, and just doesn't make it the same, and doesn't make it as enjoyable, unfortunately. So don't get me wrong, the Galaxy S10 is a great phone. I wouldn't be opposed to using it forever, but obviously, since I have the option of choosing between these two, and I already still have my iPhone 10, I am going to be sticking with this, especially with all the other Apple devices I have. I'm kind of stuck in this. But, the S10 is an awesome phone. The iPhone X is an awesome phone. The new iPhones are awesome. The new Galaxy S20, S20 Ultra, Note 10, things like that all look awesome. But at least just with me and my preference, I'm kind of stuck in this Apple ecosystem, and I'm not too bummed about it at all. The iPhones run great for me. At least this iPhone X has been pretty awesome, so I can't complain too much there. So hopefully this maybe helps you make a decision between iPhones and Android. I can't talk crap about either. Android's great. There are crappy Android phones out there. Obviously you're going to get what you're paying for, unless you're buying a phone secondhand and you find a good deal. But in general, if it retails, higher, you're probably going to get a good phone. Android side and iPhone side. You can still get more budget end devices, and they might work fine for you. But just in general, Android's all right, and iOS is all right, but I am partial to iOS. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this little pros and cons, me talking about my experience with Android over the last week, feel free to leave a like, share this video with any of your friends who might be trying to make a decision, or maybe someone that just might be interested in listening to me rant about a phone. So yeah, feel free to subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.